What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. So this video is going to be off the whim, off the cuff, off the top of the dome. And it's just a video that I've been wanting to make for a while. I've told these stories before. I've shared these similar thoughts across different videos of mine, but I want to dedicate this video solely to this topic. That topic is, why does the world hate Black Americans so much? Like, why is that a thing? Seriously. As many of you all know, I'm from the south side of Chicago, Illinois. Born and raised, and I'm still living on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. For much of my life, my interactions with anybody who was not American was minuscule. You know, Chicago is a very segregated city. Black folks, for the most part, live with Black people. Hispanics live with Hispanics. Asians live with Asians. White folks live with white folks. Arabs live with Arabs, etc. And you can see that demonstrated through, if you ride public transportation, if you like the Red Line, you will see where certain ethnicities will get off the train and they will not go further. You know, it's a rarity to see white folks riding past 35th Street. 35th Street where the Chicago White Sox play on the Red Line, right? Also, when you're on the Red Line, if you see Asian people on the Red Line, for the most part, they're going to get off at Cermak, Chinatown. And then everybody else after that point is really going to be Black on the train. So anyway, growing up, I went to school with Black folks. I went to the movie theater with Black folks, amongst Black people. I went to the corner store and played at the park with Black folks. That was my experience. And so with me living around Black folks all my life, when I used to hear the elders talk about, you know, all different types of systemic racism and the things that Black folks face in this country, as a kid, I used to think that a lot of my elders were just too radical. They were too extreme, that they were just going too far with certain beliefs and certain things that they were saying. As I got older, as I got to high school at Morgan Park High School on the south side of Chicago, and during that time period, I started to become more enlightened on certain things. And then when I went to college, I became enlightened in completely different ways. So as some of you all already know, I went to, got my bachelor's degree at Mississippi Valley State University, right? A HBCU, a historically Black college in the Mississippi Delta. And then I will go on to earn my master's degree from Arkansas State University in Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is a predominantly white institution. When I got to Arkansas State, that is where, I really knew the hatred for Black Americans existed on a greater scale than what I can even imagine. In my graduate program, majority of the students were international students, people coming to America for the very first time in that communication program. I had friends from not Kenya. I had friends from Nigeria, friends from Tanzania, had friends from Thailand, had friends from India, had friends from Bangladesh, had a friend from Saudi Arabia, friends, from all different type of places. And I remember, you know, I made friends with these individuals while being in the program, because graduate school can be lonely, and you just, you know, amongst doing all this hard work, you get close with all these different individuals. And that is where they began to open up to me. The first person to open up to me about what he had heard about Black Americans before coming to America was a homie of mine named Jay, right? Jay was from India. And Jay used to always, you know, love talking to me and everything. And he told me, he said, man, I've been wanting to talk to you about this. He said, and I hope you don't take offense to this, but before I came here, my people told me that you all were bad people. And he said, you all, when I say you all black people, they told me to stay away from you all. They told me you all could possibly rob me. You know, you were going to do bad things to me, etc. Right? And he said, Malcolm, since I've gotten to the United States, since I've gotten to Arkansas, black folks have been the nicest people to me here. Right? Now, I told y'all Jay was fresh from India. Like, he did not go. The first place he came to in America was Jonesboro, Arkansas. Right? Like, in Arkansas is MAGA land. MAGA land like a motherfucker. And when I say like a motherfucker, an Oedipus Rex motherfucker. Right? If you know the story of Oedipus Rex. But anyway, so he starts telling me, he said, you know, on my trip here, he had a connecting flight, I believe, in Atlanta or something like that. And, you know, he had trouble finding his gate. And so while trying to find his gate, he's trying to find somebody to ask for help. And he's seeing a lot of black people around him, but he's remembering what he was taught in India about black folks. They're bad people, stay away from them. They're not good people. So he's trying to seek out somebody that's not black. He finds a white man, an elderly white man, and he asks him, hey, excuse me, sir, can you tell me how to get to my gate? The elderly white man says, I can help you, but first, you're not from Pakistan, are you? Right? And he says, no. He said, okay, well, I'll help you since you're not from Pakistan. Right? And then when he said, he looked at the man so puzzled. And he said the guy still was like, not really trying to help him and like not really being helpful with the directions and sending him on like just like a blank mission, right? Not really, like he still was being standoffish to him while trying to give him directions. So the directions that the guy gave, the white man gave him was just like, it was terrible directions. So he says he started looking, he's lost, and he's afraid he's going to miss his flight. So he finally gives in and he asks a black guy that happened to work at the airport. I don't know, did he work at the airport or maybe he didn't? I don't know, I don't remember. But he said the black guy not only told him where to go, walked him to his gate and told him, man, listen, he said, it's no problem. He was so helpful that he said, I was just so, I was so shocked that the people that they told me to stay away from, this guy helped me and walked me to the gate, while the white guy, he acted like he didn't want to help me at all and asked me, was I from Pakistan, before he tried to help me, right? Then Jay, again, my boy Jay from India, when he got to school at Arkansas State, he got a job working in concessions in the arena where the basketball games were played at. The white folks there would make fun of his accent and tell him he needs to learn to speak English since he's here. They're talking to him, and as he's talking, they're saying, what, being very, very rude. Now, Jay had an accent, but you can understand what he's saying, right? But people were trying to give him a hard time because he's from another country. These MAGA folks, man, the MAGA white folks, they were talking crazy to him. So bad. It was so bad, he started crying. Jay's boss was a black man that consoled him and told him, man, it's all right, man. Some of these people just ignorant here. And, they're ignorant. They stuck in their ignorance. You're doing a great job. We're glad to have you here. You've been one of the best workers since you've been here. You're always on time. You always just a respectful person. You're very, you're professional. You have great customer service skills, etc. And uplifted his spirits. But he said he was so down and depressed. And he said, man, since I've been here, Malcolm, like you helped. He said, you've helped me. My other friend, Joanna, helped him. My other boy, Rodney, helped him. And he was like, man, you all have been so embracive to me. Right? And I don't understand where this came from. So after Jay told his story, when he's telling me this, there are other people, the other international friends that I made in the program, they're all sitting around as we're talking. This is like in class or in a computer lab after class one day. And then my two friends from Thailand said, yeah, we heard the same thing. They told us in Thailand to stay away from you all because you were going to rob us. You were going to be violent towards us. Like, if you see black people walking at night, running the opposite direction, it was all type of stuff like that. Like, man, they told us to just not to befriend you all. And you all are so nice. They were just telling us, like, we've been called rude and harsh things by the white folks here. making fun of our accents and all of that. And it was a thing. They like, yo, they told us to stay away from you all. So then it gets to my friend from Saudi Arabia named Maha. Maha told me that her people back home told her that she could marry any man she wants to except for a black man. Except for a black man. They told her you can be friends with them, but you cannot date them at all. Right? So this is India, Thailand, Saudi Arabia saying no to black folks at all. And then I remember something that happened in high school when I'm having these conversations with them. I remember when I was in high school and I was in this pharmacy program called Pathways to Pharmacy, which is a program to introduce high school students to being pharmacists and pharmacy techs, etc. It was a program that occurred over the summer. I remember I had no interest in being a pharmacist at all, but my guidance counselor in high school, Mr. Martin at Morgan Park High School, he said, Malcolm, are you doing anything this summer? I said, no. He said, well, I don't know if you're interested, but here's an opportunity with a pharmacy program. You get a $700 stipend, and all you have to do is write an essay and see if you get in. I looked at it like, man, this is a good opportunity. My parents, I can save my people some money from having to buy my school clothes and stuff. I can get the $700, get my school clothes, school supplies, etc., whatever I need. So I go and write an essay for the program. I get into the program. While I'm into this program, it's about maybe 6 or 7 black folks in the program. There's Hispanics, and then there's Asians, right? And I had an Asian friend named Michael. We're talking about all different type of experiences that we've had and all of that. And Michael went to Whitney Young. Michael told me that his mother told him he can marry any woman he wants to except for a black woman. He can never marry a black woman at all. So as I'm sitting, I'm recollecting, as I'm remembering this experience that I had in high school and these experiences that I'm having in grad school with people telling me that they've been taught in their homeland that black people are vile and evil and this and that. I say, yo, what the fuck is going on, man? All these people from different countries have been taught that black people are horrible people, and they've never even been to America. Before they even get to America, they are taught that we are the worst thing around. And I said, huh? And people say, well, it's the depiction of black folks in media that they have, They watching all these TV shows of black folks just thugs and killers and gangsters and all this and all of that, and they believe it to be true. And I said, well, I know that definitely plays a part 100% for sure. But then I said, well, with today's technology, we see many representations, many different representations of black folks. To know that all black people are not street dudes or violent individuals. There are esteemed professional black folks that work in corporate America, that are doctors, lawyers, dentists, all these other professions, police officers, etc. Black folks who are entrepreneurs, journalists, right? But some people only want to see the negative things of black folks and want to believe that with their whole hearts, right? And then I think about even the way when immigrants come to America, the way when they come here, they still feel like they're better than black American people, right? Even if they came from the poorest of the poorest conditions, they still feel like they are better than, a lot of them still feel like, hey, at least I'm not black. That's what a lot of them feel. And you're like, how dare you, right? How dare you? Then I think even you see it amongst black immigrants coming to America thinking they're better than black Americans. And hell, at least we not black Americans. And especially how dare you to them, because black Americans laid the foundation for black immigrants to be in this country. Period. Right? But you see it and you're like, yo, what the hell is this? What is this? This is crazy. But this is a thing for real. Like, I've seen it. I've experienced it. My friends have experienced it. Whereas, like, people come into America and think, hey, at least we not black Americans. And even with black immigrants, racist white folks and racist non-black people in America, they will tell the immigrants, hey, and let them feel like, hey, at least y'all not black Americans. They tell them there's something different. You're not them black Americans. And you have some black immigrants that take pride in that. Because a lot of immigrants, whether it be black or black immigrants, Asian immigrants, Hispanic immigrants, they take pride in assimilation. They want to assimilate to whatever white America deems is acceptable. Also, they assimilate to the ideologies. They even adapt and take on white supremacist talking points and the ideologies, white supremacist ideologies. Thinking of black folks as just lazy and, not hardworking, etc. Because that has been the language associated with black folks in this country since slavery. How we lazy and we built this country. How we lazy and this country was built off of the slave labor from our ancestors. How we lazy. When you had to enslave black folks to get stuff done instead of doing it your fucking self. Instead of doing it your damn self. How are black folks lazy? It's lazy folks across all ethnicities. But for some reason, we've been attached. This lazy label has been attached to black folks. And I thought about why all of this occurs. Why are black Americans painted as the worst thing ever? And I think about something my homie Black Maul. Shout out to Black Maul, man. Black Maul to be on my live streams a lot. He a big supporter of the channel. That's my dog, right? Black Maul say, man, this was done strategically to black folks, to black American people. This was done strategically to us. And this passing of information, this ideology, this mindset that black folks are the worst thing in the world, and this mindset that we're scum was done so in order to create to take away empathy, right, for our people. When you think a group of people is vile, vindictive, heinous, manipulative, shisty, when you think a group of people is just, again, violent and unruly, it takes away empathy for that group of people, right? It's like when you see criminals and you hear a criminal is violent and has done violent crimes, a lot of people don't have empathy for them. So this country has not been empathetic to black people at all for years. I mean, not for years, for centuries, okay? And even after slavery was abolished, even after Jim Crow ended, you still have systemic racism occurring and black folks being oppressed in many ways, even after the abolishment of slavery and Jim Crow. And black folks have been treated next to nothing for forever. And at one point, again, we weren't even considered citizens at all. We were considered something like almost close to animals. And even after, slavery was abolished and Jim Crow was ended, you had people still wanting black people to be looked at in that manner. And in order for black folks to still be looked at in that manner, you got to take away empathy. You got to take away the empathy that people would have for black folks. So you paint black folks as savages and, uncivilized people, etc. So that anything could be done to black folks without people feeling any type of compassion for black folks, And that's the thing. When I sit and I think about, how people have talked about black folks over the years, it's like, yeah, people purposely try to take away that empathy for our people to be able to do whatever the hell you want to do. Whether it's law enforcement gunning down black folks, whether black folks can't get certain loans to open businesses, whether, black folks experiencing home appraisal discrimination, all type of stuff. Whether black folks are experiencing are done wrong by the justice system in America, all of that. It is all intentional. It's all intentional. I think about when I talked about the when was that? 2 weeks ago on my live stream, I talked about when the Trump administration wanted to ban people that get EBT, they get food stamps, ban them from buying like a soda, ban them from buying a candy bar or anything like that. I say, this was about policing poor people. And a lot of poor folks in this country are black folks, right? And people attach being poor, people think being poor is a morality issue. You have white supremacists. Let me be very clear. White supremacists think being poor is a morality issue, right? And people in this country often look at black people as an immoral group of people. That's why they talk about, y'all not married. Single mothers. You got some black folks sagging their pants. You got some black folks that that wear cornrows in their hair, and you got black folks who who didn't go to college. They try to paint you as immoral, paint our people as immoral, so anything can be done to us, right? And even when it pertains to poverty, I'm all over the place, excuse me. When I talked about, people trying to control the poor and police the poor, when black folks are living in rough conditions, people talk about us as vile and immoral so that people won't feel empathy for black folks living in poverty, right? When you tell a person, when you convince the world that black folks are immoral people, a lot of people won't have compassion or empathy for black folks that are living in poverty. Because, you're poor because you had to have done something wrong to be poor. You had to have not applied yourself in life. You had to have not gone to college. You had to have, you had to have squandered opportunities to be poor. You had to have had, too many children. That's why you're poor. You had to have had, been lazy. That's why you're poor, because you don't work hard enough. And I tell people all the time, you can I know people that work hard as hell, work hard as fuck, and still are poor. While these CEOs, they don't do more than half of the work that their workers do. They sitting fat and sitting pretty because they know the right person, or through nepotism that they've gained, with their people having a leg up in society for forever. They've been able to stay at the top. And they convince you that you're poor because you don't work hard enough. I sit here before y'all as a man with 2 college degrees, a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And it's still hard for me to find the job that I had before while working as a government contractor last year. I got laid off from that job because of budget cuts. And it's been hard as hell for me to even get close to get a job close to the salary that I had, right? Out here trying to make it, trying to do my thing and applying to these jobs, and it's still hard. And so what do people say to that? I didn't work hard enough? I didn't apply myself in school? I'm lazy? Those words cannot be associated to me and cannot be associated to a lot of black folks. A lot of black folks went to school and got degrees and all of that and still out here struggling, But you have people in the world that don't feel empathy for black folks because of the way that white supremacists have painted black people as vile, vindictive, and, unruly and uneducated and brute, savage-like people. We've been painted that way. Yeah, we've had people do degenerate things in our community, but there are degenerates across every ethnic group. Every ethnic group. They act like black people are more inherently degenerate than everybody else. Oh, when I went to Arkansas, I saw degeneracy. I saw white degeneracy like it wasn't nothing. My boy lived in Hawaii. He saw Pacific Islander degeneracy there for sure. I know people. I've seen Hispanic degeneracy living in Chicago, going, working in certain Hispanic neighborhoods and all that. I've seen Hispanic degeneracy. So to act like black folks are just more degenerate than other people, it boggles my mind. And to think about the hate for black American people. When I was in Jonesboro, Arkansas, I remember the MAGA ass folks were pissed off because they were trying to name a street after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They were pissed off that they were trying to name a street after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Jonesboro, and they were protesting. They were trying to contest that a street be named after him. What do that tell you about the disdain for black American people? Dr. Martin Luther King, you don't want a street named after him? Because at least it wasn't the radical Malcolm X, the man I was named after. At least it wasn't a street after Malcolm X. Because we know how y'all feel about Malcolm X. Y'all think y'all think Malcolm X was the devil. He was everything but that. Anything but that. He was the complete opposite of a devil, But yeah, man. I just think about the disdain for black American people, even from, like the Cubans in Miami, how they hate black. A lot of them hate black folks. Shit is ridiculous, man. But all of this was done intentionally to take away the empathy for our people so anything could be done to us. And shout out to Black Maul for making me really key in on that point, to take away the empathy for us so anything can be done to us. Stay strong, black folks. We in this together.